Do you want to make your videos accessible to more people? In this video, I will be sharing with you 10 ways that you can easily make your videos more accessible. And not only will these help your videos be improved for people with disabilities, it will help the average viewer of your videos enjoy your videos more. All right, numero uno. The first thing you can do is make sure that you have a very clear and descriptive title, and your description explains exactly what will be in the video, and your thumbnail is nice and clear. You want to make sure that your potential viewers know what they're going to be seeing and expecting so that they'll click on the video and get exactly what they were wanting. Now, you can make your title and description fun and exciting. However, you want to make sure that you're being accurate about what you're going to be showing. This will make your viewers excited to click on your video and to watch it. This will also really help screen reader users. Screen readers are typically used by someone who's low vision or blind, and they can also be used for other purposes like people who have cognitive disabilities. And this is an assistive technology that helps read to them exactly what's on their screen instead of them having to read it themselves. So they simply just listen to what is on the screen instead of looking at it. And so if you put all the information in your thumbnail and then your title is super vague and doesn't tell the viewer what it's about, if someone's using a screen reader, they're gonna have no idea what video they're even getting into, so they might not even click on that video. Okay, so one way that anyone who does videos will tell you, and it actually helps with accessibility at the same time, is to make sure that you have clear audio and you have good lighting. This can be tricky. In fact, I'm always trying to improve my audio and lighting, and I still am not quite to the level that I want to be at. But I think at a minimum, finding one that doesn't have a lot of scratchy background noises, making sure you're in a quiet area where there won't be any distracting sounds in the background is gonna be good. And then over time, you can improve your audio. Same with lighting, making sure that it's well lit so people can see what you're doing and what's happening. And then you can always up that as you're going along. I think it's more crucial to make sure you have good lighting when you're showing something. So if I'm showing you a project or something and I want you to be able to see the fine details, then I would really want to make sure that the lighting is good so it's actually visible. And then even more importantly, I would say, is your audio, making sure that people can understand you. If people can't hear you and it's not easy for them to hear you or understand you, they're not going to want to listen or watch your video at all. They're probably just going to leave your video and go find some content that they can enjoy without having to try to listen really closely. The next tip is to use plain language. You want to keep it simple and easy for anyone to be able to understand you. You want to try to not talk too fast or too slow. You want to try to not mumble, and you want to use words that people will understand and not have to look up or just have it go over their head. If you're explaining a term that's relevant to your video that might not be a common term people would understand, you can explain it to your audience and help them understand what you're saying. And this will really just help people with cognitive disabilities. It will also just help the average user or people who are new at learning about the topic that you'll be talking about. My next tip is to make sure that you're including audio descriptions. Now, when I say that, most people think, oh, that's gonna ruin my content. Now, something I try to do in my videos is to have a narration where I explain what's happening when I'm not explaining it myself in a vlog or whatever. I try to make sure to describe my surroundings so people know what I'm doing if they can't see it. I want any person to be able to watch my videos, and whether they're watching it or not, they can know exactly what's going on. I also want it to work for someone who's trying to multitask. Say they're trying to do the dishes and they can't really watch it, but they're just listening. I want them to know exactly what's going on so they can complete their task and enjoy my video at the same time. Now, audio description is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Instead of looking at something, it's words that describe what is being shown on the screen. Audio descriptions won't be perfect at first, but just do your best and take the time to learn a little bit about audio description to help you making your videos a little bit more accessible, especially for those who are blind. The fifth way you can make your videos more accessible is by making sure you include closed captioning. Now, when you're using a platform like YouTube, they have the ability to do automated closed captioning. Now, this is the base minimum of what you should be doing. This is great that they offer this feature. It makes it so more people can use their videos. You have to make sure that you turn this feature on in your settings, and this makes it so that people who are hard of hearing or deaf can watch your videos and still see in words on the screen what is being said. Now, even better than just the automated closed captionings is you could manually go in and put your own closed captionings. You can either just edit the automated ones to save some time, or you can go and type it all in. You also have the option in your settings to ask people in your community to submit the closed captionings, and then that way you're not having to do all of them. You get the help from your community, and then you have good closed captionings. It's also an option to add multiple languages as an option for closed captioning. So I would say even higher and better than doing manual closed captionings is to include a transcript of some sort. This could be in the description, this could be on your website attached to your video, and then this way you can also add in audio descriptions, which we just talked about. And another way for people who can't see what's happening on the screen, you can write out text that says exactly what's happening, that you wouldn't be able to know what was happening unless you could see it. This makes it easier for someone to just download the PDF or whatever form you decide to do and follow along with the video, or even just read the transcript by itself to review the notes or whatnot later on. The next way to level up your videos is to make sure you're not putting any graphics or text that is too complex. You don't want to put paragraphs of text on your video. There's people who will put a ton and then they'll be like, oh, well, you can pause it and read it. I personally don't think that's good practice. And if you're wanting people to read it, you should take the time to let them read it, break it up, make it more digestible for your audience. Just think about when you're looking at a PowerPoint work presentation, or even when you're in school. Your teachers are not going to put every single word that they're saying on the screen. They're going to do more talking about what they're showing on the screen. This way, your viewers aren't going to be spending all their time trying to decipher what you're putting on the screen, and they can focus on what you have to say about the topic. The next thing I have noticed a lot of people just don't even notice and pay attention to. You really want to make sure you pay attention to the placement of any graphics, any text you put on the screen in your videos. It's really important to keep in mind that the video player on the bottom is going to be showing on some people's screens, and also anyone who's using closed captioning will have the words on the bottom of the screen, or it could be different depending on what platform you're using for your videos. But if you're using YouTube specifically, they're always on the bottom, just above the video player. And so if you're going to be putting graphics or words that you want your viewers to be able to use, you want to pay attention to that placement so that they can see both the closed captioning and any graphics you put on at the same time. But you guys, placement does matter, and make sure you are being intentional about it. Now, if you do decide to include text or graphics on the screen, which is totally fine and can actually enhance and make your video better, you want to make sure to pay attention to the color contrast, which I have a whole video about. I'll put in my description below. But basically, you want to make it super easy and fast for people to read what you're putting on the screen or showing in a graphic. You don't want to put super close colors together. That makes it hard to read, or colors that vibrate with each other. You want to make it as easy as you can for your viewers. This also includes just paying attention to the size of the font, what type of font you're using. So if you're using a little bit more of a fancy decorative font, maybe increase the size of the font, and definitely make sure that you're meeting color contrast. But if you're using a more simple, clean font, that would allow you to have more flexibility with the size of the font and how you're using it. Try not to overthink this one, but just use common sense. Maybe ask a couple of people to review your video and see if they can read your content easily. My tip number 9 is to include content warnings. This can be very helpful to people who have things that are triggering, and you can just help them know ahead of time that something's coming, and then maybe include like a timestamp and say, if this part's going to be triggering to you, you can skip to this part of the video to finish the rest of the video. And while it is better to avoid things that are super triggering for people, we can't always cover all the things that are going to be triggering for people. Maybe it's an essential part of the content that we're creating. And so simply recognizing the kind of content that would be triggering to people and then warning about it ahead of time. And you can put it in your description and also in your video so that people are aware. My final way goes hand in hand with the last one, but specifically about people with seizures. You want to make sure that you don't have any flashing lights or any rapid changing and movement and things that can trigger a seizure for someone. This can be a serious issue for people with seizures when they're watching videos and legitimately can trigger a seizure for them. So if it's something you absolutely can't avoid, once again, please make sure you put a content trigger warning in there for those people. Well, that's all the tips I have for you. So it's now your turn to go out and make some videos and improve what you have. And I hope these tips will make it easier for you and more people will be able to enjoy the awesome content that you are about to create. I hope that you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you next time. Bye!